So while some of you guys know who I am, there are probably newer members that don't know and are probably wondering, who's this Aegis guy? So in the next 60 seconds, I'm going to answer just that. The year is 2012. I had just finished high school and I'm an aspiring creator that wants to go to college and hopes to eventually work in the game industry. And over the next 5 to 6 years, I spent my time at the Cincinnati Art Institute learning about all kinds of different skill sets, such as design fundamentals, color theory, observational drawing, film theory, language of animation, storyboarding and animatics, motion graphics, fluid simulation and dynamics, audio mixing, and much more, including biology. Hey, this says biology. Is that correct? Is that supposed to be?
Just go with it.
Why do I have to take biology for an animation degree? That sounds ridiculous.
I am proud to say that I completed my degree without ever staying up throughout the whole night. But one of the biggest takeaways from this experience was that in almost every class, we would always sit down and talk and present our projects to the whole class. And it was in this time that we would go through what we called a critique. This was about what do we like, what do we think could be better, and what do we want to see going forward. So today, we're going to do just that. I have not seen these. We're going to go one video at a time, and we're going to talk about them. So with that said, let's jump into it. Headset. Okay. New audio input capture. New audio capture device. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Mum's the word. Mum's the word. Okay. See, like, so this is what the software is like. If you guys don't know what OBS is, I'm here talking to nobody, but I'm looking at this level right here, and it's showing that I'm talking. But then I look over in chat, and you guys are like, "Oh, where is he?" Now, this is my crappier mic, so I know we've already been delayed. I just want to try and see if you guys can hear me on my better mic. So I'm just going to switch it. If it doesn't work, we'll go back and we're going to get started. We're going back to the Yeti, and I'm going to continue talking. If my voice is drowned out or gone away, let me know. I'm talking. Okay, so we can hear the Yeti mic. So you guys can probably hear the improved ASMR quality. Welcome to Aegispines ASMR stop motion critique. Okay. All right, guys, I am so sorry about that. Again, I tested this. Everything looked like it was working, and you just don't know until you start. Watch, now the audio isn't going to work on this video. I'm going to watch this whole thing through, and if there is no audio in the video, let me know, but I'm not going to look at chat until afterwards. So, first entry is Animation Catalyst, and if anybody is not in the server that's watching, I believe the theme was Imposter or something like that. I'll admit, guys, I'm tied up in a lot of projects right now, and I'm always busy doing something, so apologize. But I think the theme is Imposter. Description: Blue Man, as he's been named by the lads in my late project tab, kills a client right before a UNSC convoy meets him. Expecting to find the client, the UNSC convoy is met with a mysterious blue figure who enjoys beating the utter crap out of them. Imposter in less than 90 seconds. Right. Okay, cool. All right. I'm so sorry, guys, for the delay, but I am the kind of guy that wants to figure it out. I'm not going to quit. So, okay. Animation Catalyst, first one. Dude, that guy was point blank and he missed with a shotgun. Man. GG, dude. Good fight. Wow, the work. Wow, dude. You did a great great job with this. Okay. Wow. All right. You guys can still hear me, right? You guys here? Yeah. You guys are here. That was pretty good, dude. let's go back and look. I'm sorry. I'm looking at these levels and okay, yeah, so that is the this is the YouTube audio. Good choice on the music, by the way. That was nifty. Kind of kicks it into second gear there. All right. So I'm going to turn this down. Just look this over again. First thing that stands out to me with this shot, you got your two guys talking. The distance between your top border of the frame is a little short. Granted, that's not bad. I like that these are framed like perfectly. The tops of their heads and the distance between that and the top of, the edge of the top frame is good. That's great. The only thing I think really that bothers me in this shot is that we're seeing this guy and this guy. We're seeing his whole body with the gun, and this guy is getting cut off here in the frame. I think if I was you redoing the shot, I would pull the camera back a little bit. Maybe so this is kind of like a medium wide probably. You'd get more of like the warthog in the back. As far as the color, things look great. I mean, the colors here in the foreground, you got the Marine and the Warthog in the back, and there's kind of blends, like the silhouette isn't very like defined here, but that's fine. It's not like the biggest deal, in the world. I'm just getting, kind of picky, but I do like the separation of the ground, the green on the ground and the back wall here. So let's keep going. I could have sworn you used a few of my sound effects for my Halo pack, so that's awesome. There's nothing here. I love the body falling. I peeked. Sorry about that. I love the body falling right there. And the animation is great too, dude. I mean, nice little blood effect there. You got your camera doing some little Dutch angles, kind of turning sideways. Nice little follow through too. When that guy jumps in right here, you hold on that pose. You hold and you wait and you lead it with the follow through. He lands, he holds that landing, and then he stands up. Now I would have he stands up, and then you have this cut where it goes from like a cowboy shot to to like the upper. That's not, I'm not saying that, it's bad. It might be a little bit jarring, but the entire pace of this video is very quick. So I don't view that as a problem. But to me, when you cut from the cowboy to the close up here, I'm almost inclined to think it's like a different person at first glance, because it happens so fast. Okay, ready? See, when I watch it again, you can see that, the helmet is like the same. If I was to do something different with this shot, I would have probably kept it at this cowboy angle, but then as he leans up, you could pull the camera back and show more of like a medium shot. Halo Pack flame motion. No one's proved me wrong yet, but I'm convinced that I compiled the biggest Halo 5 sound effects pack and put it up for download on my channel. It's over I don't remember the number, but it's at least 3,800 sound effects that I individually recorded, named, and sorted, and into a downloadable folder. You can look up Halo 5 sound effects pack, and then type in my gamer tag. It's really easy to find. Not the best sound effects pack. Some of the balancing is a little off. It was my first real pack. It was my first big experience. So, there are a few errors here and there. But anyway, we're talking about this. So, but yeah, it could just be a little bit jarring going from, or, instead of pulling the camera back, you could have held on that cowboy pose and then had the camera move up to then what we see here. So just a simple, I always get the panning and tracking confused, or like just like a pan up or a track up. Yeah, pan is, my professor once told me, pan is when the camera is standstill and it's turning on like a gimbal or rotating. Tracking is when it's actually like moving. So technically this would be a tracking shot if you were to track up and have that reveal. But I get it. You guys have different equipment, and you may not have the flexibility there. I go where the money is. I love it. I love the beam rifle part there. And the anticipation. It's not just just a quick, like, all of a sudden he's holding it and he's firing. Like, you could have taken that shortcut, but you're putting the time in for this. You're putting the time in, and it shows. Just swings it around like that. That's awesome. And the camera shake too. I love it. And you got the effect there. He's dodging it. That is really cool, dude. Yeah, there you go. I love the camera work here, dude. This is really good. In a fight scene, I think that you're having this battle between these two guys, and you're cutting back and forth, right? And they have these moments, this exchange, like if you will. And if I were to be doing these shots, I would have had him not framed right, but more of like framed on like the middle right. So his head would be kind of like over here. You'd have more negative or more open space over here. And maybe his arm would be, maybe this arm shape would be over here, because he's looking in this direction, right? He's facing like the other guy. And then vice versa. When you cut to the other dude right here, you would have him kind of framed over here, because the action is between both of these characters. And typically, I mean, in most cinema and film, you're gonna see that a lot. You're gonna see when people are talking to each other, you got the 180 rule, and they're framed to where they're looking at each other, and they're framed left and framed right. But again, it's not the end of the world. All right. Dafter says, I know I bang on about rule of thirds. Yeah, rule of thirds, it's not like you have to abide by it. People like to do quadrants and split it up into a top left, top right, bottom left. I mean, again, it just depends on the shot, right? It depends on what's motivating the scene and what's really taking place. GG, dude, good fight. All right, so let's just look this up. I'm just going to look this over again and see. Actually, let's talk about sound real quick. That ambience is perfect. I love it. You're not just having this open, this dead air, right? It's great. The body fall is great. So obviously there's a landing sound there that could have been placed. You could have had the whoosh and the whoosh, and he's like popping down. Just again adding weight to the scene. If we go back. Yeah. That is a important beat there. If a new character is entering the scene, then there's a nice little action beat here happening. So there's a missed sound there, unfortunately. Let's keep going. If I were really getting in, like if it was me doing this video, that action of him just whipping out that beam rifle is sick, and it just cries out for some neat spiral spin effects of some kind of quick, rapid like whoosh sounds, like, and then you follow that up with the firing. That would have been sick. And some velocity switches of the bullet going by. I know if you go to my sound pack, there is plenty of beam rifle sound. So, not saying you have to use my sound pack, but if you're not sure, that's a good, a good spot to look. I love what was that? That's the beam rifle overload sound that you used there. And then he pops out his shield. That hits hard, dude. That's sick. When he gets flown back, I love that impact of him going through the wall. But when he gets flown backward, when he initially hits that wall, what, right here? Yeah, right there. When he hits that wall, dude, he smacked that wall like Mach 4. Like he's gotta feel something. So there was a little bit of an impact there missing. But overall, dude, you did a really good job with this. And I know chat, I know you guys mentioned the blood spray spot. Yeah, that was a nice touch. And I'm gonna watch that again real quick. Yeah, dude, that was, and you cut the sound out. That was great. That was awesome. And yeah, it's you guys said he uses a phone. I can't believe you guys do some of this stuff with just a phone. I mean, granted, I'm more traditional, and I mean, when I was your guys' age, I was not trying to make myself sound old or anything, but I know I'm getting old, dude. We had computers and phones where I had a flip phone, which I still have somewhere, but trying to think about a stop motion on a flip phone, nah, dude, that's not happening. But it still amazes me. It amazes me that you guys do these and you guys accomplish so much with just a phone. But I get it. You guys are in high school and you use the tools that you have, and I hope that some of you guys will continue to grow these skills and evolve, and eventually get a part-time job, save up, buy your first computer. It's a great feeling. And then once you're there, you can use After Effects or use whatever software, Sony Vegas, whatever you guys use. Can we appreciate the set? Yeah, dude, the set is great. I didn't really touch much on it except the first shot. I love that you're separating the color information from walls and like the ground, and you got some plants in there too. It's fantastic. A whoosh sound that like when he grabbed him and threw him over his shoulder like that, there's a whoosh that could have been there as well. But yeah, Followable, you're right. There's enough here to where it is satisfying to watch, and it is engaging. When you have there are these quick cuts in here that are just fantastic. But unfortunately, I think it's time to move on to the next one. I want to be spending half an hour on each. I set aside a lot of time for this, but I got other things to do today, so unfortunately we got to keep moving on. So next one is by Dafter Things. Dafter, I remember your last one, dude. I remember that last one with the guy dropping in. It was awesome. But again, so Animation Catalyst, yeah, isn't that Badlax? I mean, that looks like his work, because I remember he did one with the Jackal before. But yeah, great job, dude. Great job to Animation Catalyst / Badlax, if that is you, because I think someone in chat said that at one point. But okay, yes, it's Badlax. Got it. I say Battle Axe, but it's Badlax. Like, okay. All right. This video contains blood and moderate violence, not suitable for under 13. Okay.
I'm home, darling.
How was your day, dear?
As dreary as all the others.
Did you remember to give Margot's birthday present to the PM?
Yes, dear. He was sorry to hear that we would miss the party. Are you feeling any better?
A little. Dinner will be in 20 minutes.
That shocking news again. The Prime Minister and his wife have been killed in an explosion during birthday
Claire?
celebrations. Early indications suggest the explosive device was hidden within one of the gifts.
Claire, come and... Claire,
Police
what are you...
investigations continue, but the government spokesperson
Oh, God.
has
One
said
for
an emergency
each
meeting of
year
the
I've
cabinet
had to
has been called
endure this
immediately.
charade, dear.
We will, of course, stay with this story.
You've seen
and
the
bring you
news?
Yes. As we receive mission accomplished, Sleeper 12. Time to come in.
Understood.
Under terrible circumstances, I have accepted the invitation to become acting Prime Minister. With your support and the support of my wife, I am sure I can lead our nation through these difficult times. Thank you.
All right. Uh-oh. Dude, first thing that stood out, the fish tank. And it had me for a second. I was like, wait a minute. Like, dude, it pulled me in to believe that this was an actual, like a big set. But it's like, and then I quickly noticed that the edges right here. And I thought, oh, yep, it's a post effect corner pin. And with these water effects here, I was like, dude, this is great. And then it seems to be fairly well tracked when the camera backs up. And by the way, that guy has got a goblet. That's like the amount of liquid he's going to drink there is like, that's like his stomach, basically. It's like half his torso. He's going to kill his liver drinking that much, dude. Fantastic. Got the candle. You got the picture in the background. I love the set work, dude. It's got the time and the thought put into it. And I love that the glass he has is red. You know, I mean, he could have been drinking red wine. He could be drinking white wine, but you make it red. You know, it's kind of foreshadowing. It's he's gonna get shot. Casually drinking the whole bottle after a hard day at work. Lol. A ripped liver. Rest in peace, liver, dude. And yeah, I mean, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see him gonna get shot. He's talking to his wife, and that's all you know, right? And you got this glow effect from the TV, dude. That's awesome. The camera zooms in. Liver decided it had enough.
Continue, but the government spokesperson, one of the gifts.
Claire, come and... Claire,
Police
what are you...
investigations continue, but the government spokesperson has
One
said
for
an
each
Not bad, not
year
bad,
I've
not-
had to
not
endure
bad.
this charade, dear.
We will, of course, stay with this story.
You've seen...
Not bad with the blood and the gore. It's not like overdone. But at the same time, it's brutal, and the blood drip, dude. Fantastic work.
Accomplished Sleeper 12.
When you are compositing sound,
Within one of
now this doesn't really count. I mean, this doesn't really if you know, for this, what you have here when he's getting shot, like you know, works well. But if she was standing much farther away, just something to keep in mind, and if this applies to, you know, pretty much everyone else, that the bullet travels faster than sound, right? And so we should hear the impact of the bullet hitting his skull first before we hit the gunshot, before we hear the gunshot sound from afar. Now, again, you know, obviously here they're practically right next to each other, so it's not, you know, a big deal, but something to keep in mind going forward. When you know, when your guys are compositing and, you know, doing audio mixing for, you know, like whatever it is. He even blurred the blood effect when the camera focus. Yeah, the rack focus shifting is great too. When he goes to sit on the couch, everything in the background here kind of blurs back. I mean, there's a handful of post work here done that is definitely to be appreciated. Yeah, and Joe says, yeah, I didn't realize it until now. Yeah, I mean,
Margot's birthday present.
you can see the focus shift right there. Great job. Great attention to detail, dude. The set is a little bit... There's some blank space over here. Granted, it would be the same over here, but you got this crate or this little basket thing, little stand right here. Just noticing a little bit of bare space over here. Again, it's not bad, but there could be something there to help fill up the scene more.
Have been killed in an explosion during birthday celebrations. Early indications
Great job
suggest the explosive
zooming in on him.
device was hidden within one of the gifts.
Claire, come and... Claire, what
Police
are you...
investigations continue. The
Just
government spokesperson has
One
said
for
an emergency
each
meeting of
year
the
I've
cabinet
had to
has been
endure
called
this
for the meeting.
charade, dear.
We will, of course, stay with this.
It's important to remember that with film in general, the closer, there's a reason why it's done all the time. But usually, if the director wants to have the audience sympathize with the character or kind of quote get in their head, you can do such a better job at portraying emotion when the camera is closer to like their face versus farther away. And so again, that's one of the underlying reasons of why, how would his reaction be if the camera was just right here, right? Instead of zooming in like it does, what if it was just here the whole time? How would we convey that emotion? He could drop his glass and spill all the nice precious red wine everywhere, or kind of have like a reaction. He kind of startles a little bit, but again, it's because of the camera work that we push in on the actual subject
Again,
that
the
just
Prime Minister
makes it
and
work
his
better.
wife have been killed in an explosion during birthday.
Body language is great, but pulling the camera in towards the character's face if something's happening, you put those two together, and that's what helps sell it better. But
We will, of course, stay with this story.
You've seen the
and bring you
news?
Yes. As we receive mission accomplished. Sleeper 12. Time to come in.
Understood.
nice. You're leaving room for the conversation. You're letting each beat play out. You're giving it the breathing room that it needs. Overall, dude, nice and sweet. Very, very simple, but effective. And then there's the last
seen the
bit
news?
that I didn't...
We receive mission accomplished. Under terrible circumstances, I have accepted the invitation to become acting Prime Minister. With your support and the support of my wife, I am sure I can lead our nation through these difficult times. Thank you.
And it's the same chick. It's the imposter. Going back on, this works well. Like everything here works well. I think I shouldn't say everything, but this works very well. The only thing that that personally bothers me is just the bare space right here. You have nothing here but the background. You could have had someone standing here. But then again, it'd be like, who is that character? Because we've only seen this guy, the imposter, and then the husband that gets shot. But it would have been nice to have this doorway framed, have this background doorway just framed on the center screen, and then you had her, and then you had someone over here. Yes, it is a very sweet story, very sweet. Dafter, are you still here, buddy? I know that I saw you in chat earlier. Wait for the delay for chat. Yeah, great job. Otherwise, fantastic job with this dude. Great job with just framing and like just paying attention to what a camera does naturally, which is focusing. and adjusting, focus, whether you let it do auto or, in this case for you, I'm guessing that you were doing this stuff manually. Because again, I don't know much about these smaller cameras that you guys use. Yep, after you're still here, sweet. I like it, and they offered to let me vote on all these, but I didn't want to watch them until the stream because I think that the best thing, the most satisfying thing for an artist is to see someone's live reaction. At least that's definitely how I feel when you spend hours and hours and hours on these videos, and it's like you get a text message from your friends like, yeah, that was good, that was cool. Well, tell me something more. Like, what was your favorite part? What did you like about it? It's just we spend all this time, and then it's like, yeah, it was good. It's like, stop it, dude. Like, oh, the life of a creator. That's how it is. It'd be like that sometimes. But great job, though, man. We're gonna move on to the next one. By Molnar 3000. Followable says, the whole sleeper agent idea made me think of BO1, unintentional or not. Black Ops 1, I'm guessing that is. It really, really brought back the great memories. It made me like it even more. Completely in post. All in post. The camera doesn't move at all through the shot. No way. So you're either scaling up your image, you're modifying scale. Either way, I mean, clever. I thought that you pulled the camera back. I was convinced. Great job, dude. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. By Molnar 3000. Oh, he's so cute. He's like... Oh, that's great. I love the payoff. That's great. Is there another part? Oh, there isn't. A little footstool at the end. Oh my gosh. That was good. Let's go ahead and turn that volume down. I like the little post effect, little grainy, this aesthetic that you put in here. And right off the bat, the set work. My gosh, dude. Good golly. There's so much stuff happening here, and I love it. As far as framing and everything, I don't think anything stands out. I mean, like, if there's anything that I view as like wrong or like not, bad or anything like that, or like it could be better. And I like that the camera pulls down so that you can see the little flood guy. We're introducing our characters. We're establishing our scene. I love it. I'm not sure about the one thing that bothers me so far is for the muzzle flares, you're doing a screen wide flash. Yeah, there we go. Pause it at the right spot. And that, that can just be a little bit jarring. Like if I was about to go to bed, right, and I turned off my lamp and I said, okay, I'm gonna watch one more video or watch two more videos, this would be something that might strain like the eyes a little bit. And so I would like to see like a muzzle flare or like a muzzle flash that would more properly reflect. You know, it would more properly reflect what would actually, you know, what we would actually see. Let's look at chat. Its legs moved. Andrew did great. Andrew, I agree. And this is really, really great. I love the story. I love what's, I love like the setups, and he just takes the suit off and just lets the flood spores get it. Andrew's set was one of my favorites, especially the opening shot. I agree, Followable. It draws you in. It's like immediately you're engaged. And the fact he designed that tunnel himself, yeah, you can see it's just a kit bash. Just a kit bash of all these different like pieces stuck together. And you got some little plants here and there. You got a little plant right down here hanging off, one right here. Again, attention to detail. This is fantastic. Click says, when the flood jumped, you can see its legs moving. You can't move them normally. Huh. That could have been a post effect work. Let's move back forward. Like, it is kind of strange that in our opening shot with these flares, like, this is what I would like to see, you know, the environment lighting up, you know, around it per every gunshot. And it's just, I'm slightly confused as to why we, you know, it looks like it like that there, and then in this shot we're getting this whole screen flicker effect. Just casually takes out the mag, reloads it. I love it. It's a little interesting that he framed this, or that I'm just going to say you, just because I know you're probably going to watch this. So, Andrew, I am interested in the reasoning why you decided to frame the infection form with the camera from like a bird's eye versus what I would expect traditionally would be what we would call a worm's eye view, where the camera is like really low end, really low to the ground, and we're seeing like the side. We're seeing the side of the silhouette, and that might help define this shape better and separate it from the ground. But then again, in your set, most of the set is, you know, brown and, you know, nice and warm brown and yellow all throughout. So as far as silhouette and form goes, you know, it's not the, you know, we can easily tell that it is a flood infection form. Aegis, it's crawling on a wall, not a bird's eye. No, okay. Well, now I feel stupid. It's all such good timing as well. Yeah, timing, I don't see hardly any issues with timing's one of the hardest things ever, and I'll admit I'm not perfect. I still struggle with it. Like when I do 3D animation, it's tough. In fact, I'm working on a Hush Hush project. I'm working on something where I'm doing first person animations for the gun firing, the reload, overheat, and all that. So you guys will, if you follow my main channel, you'll see what that looks like later on in the year. But timing is so important. It's like it takes like an hour to learn and then a lifetime to master. He said bird's eye and I got confused. Yeah, at first glance it kind of looked like I was looking at like a bird's eye view here, but yeah, no, I guess when I look at it again, yeah, this is well, shoot, Andrew, I'm sorry, buddy, and I should have been able to tell because in this following shot it leads up with, we can see that he's on the wall. Okay. My bad, Andrew. My bad. I love. He's like, "Come get me." At first impression, I was getting like a why. I love it. TK Disc Golf, boy. Hey, Tyler. Or actually, that's probably Taylor. Hi, Taylor. Also, if you have the time at the end of the stream, Andrew posted a video explaining how he did that effect. Yeah, Followable, if you can give me the link, drop the link in the chat when we get to that point, and then you can watch it. I was Taylor. Taylor, you run this channel. You run their channel more than I. Still have more subs than you, right? Of course, you ask for your subs. I don't. You're never going to see a video where I ask for subs. That's wholly on principle. Anyway, let's keep going. And it's interesting that in this shot, he the flood form jumps up and there's no background. Like, I think that works out very well because it kind of goes back on what I was saying earlier, where the walls and the floor are all yellow, and this would have blended in so well. Even if you did like a rack focus and you just blurred out the background, this works great. At first, I'm like, why did he do that? But I look at the action here, and it's just better off that way. I love it. Taylor, you're at 976. Yeah, I still got you. GG. You got to make more videos. All right, let me straighten up my back here. Oh, okay. Let's keep going. The armor effects are great too. He's like, He's sitting on the toilet. I love it. And for some reason, it keeps the knee pad and the legs still on. I love it. I love the punchline here. This is just this is great. I love it. I'm going to play it one more time with sound, Taylor, since you just jumped in here. Mute my mic so it doesn't feed back through. Oh wait, there's more. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I feel bad because I know Andrew. I saw you joined the server not too long ago, and I just haven't got it. I haven't. There's so many of you guys, and you guys keep changing your names in the server. I can't remember who's who. But it's clear that you know what you're doing here. As far as further critique goes, I think that in this shot, I know that the focus is the suit of armor here, but I think it may have worked better if the suit of armor was framed middle left and then Chief is framed on the middle right, and so there's some empty space between both of them, and then you could have had, like, to make it maybe even funnier, you have the flood infection forms coming in from the right. They're passing by the chair and just going straight for the suit, and the suit be placed on the left. Cam4K Studios says, "Hey yo, hey buddy. Followable. I never changed my name. Lol. Yeah, I guess you don't." Taylor says, "Gotta cover a new Chief up though." Well, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe if you had a different chair prop, you could have had something working there. But yeah, no, this is really good, dude. Overall, very, very good. But and it doesn't look like you're in the chat, so great job. Sorry, I mistook the wall shot for a bird's eye shot. That was totally my bad. But we're gonna go to the next one. Take a look. Let's just see. I want to remember which one we're supposed to end on. So I don't remember the picture is. Yeah. So we got several. So our Click Studio. Yours is gonna be the last one for today. Okay. All right, next one by Pieface Productions. I don't think I know you either, Pieface. You must be a newer member. Maybe. I don't know. All right. Is that a JoJo reference by Pieface Productions?
I can't believe you chose this path. We chained our whole lives together. You were like a brother to me, but now you're just an imposter.
Nice. Oh, just shoots him.
No, he's getting away.
Why, hello there. I'm Timo, the cowboy cow.
No, that's impossible.
Indeed, it is, my friend.
What happened to your armor? Apparently Cal got thrust your armor. Wait, so you're basically inside that cow? Yeah. Dude, that's disgusting.
I got it, sir. They didn't suspect a thing.
Good job. Now I need just a few more parts.
Nice. Sweet. Let's go back. First thing, your intro title, talking about rule of thirds, like we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of empty space up here. And you also think about, there's a thing called a title safe. And I don't think you're terribly close here, but title safe is just, it's an industry standard where it talks about the safe zone for putting text on your screen. Because with certain screens, whether it's mobile, whether it's an iPad, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on, God forbid, you go into like Vimeo to watch your content, there's just that chance that you get parts of the edges are cut off, and it's not exactly as what you intended when you're working on your composition. And so just going over text in general, this should be centered on your screen, unless you had some text up here. And maybe some more, maybe. I mean, this is fine. Recommend 13 plus right here. Obviously, for YouTube, it works. Cowboy cow got me, haha. Let's keep going forward. I think the biggest thing for Pieface that I would like you to work on going forward is your framing. Your camera there's just so much bare space like over here. And you could definitely have the camera more. I mean, we're looking at a confrontation, right? So there's the emotion here is it's like oh crap, what's gonna happen? Obviously, the dog gets shot. I love how you're referencing Pokemon, but it's like not. You're like you're not really talking about. You're not really mentioning Pokemon, but you can see that it's just kind of a. You're kind of alluding to it. But yeah, again, going back to Badlax's, the first one we watched, when talking about framing a conversation between two people, where we have him centered here, and we have him over here centered as well. Which, when you go back and forth between these shots, that inherently that like works well, and there is some attention to detail there. But again, a industry standard for conversations is that person facing right framed left, person facing left framed right, and maybe not have the camera right on like a side view, but what we would call a 3/4 view. And again, it just takes time. It takes time, and just keep working at it. And just study film and why certain things in film work. That why things are working. What's the cinematic grammar behind why things work. Which that's a whole nother conversation I would like to have with the server, like as a whole, that you guys could benefit from. I had to pay thousands of dollars to learn this stuff, and now it's I could just tell you it and you get it for free. But anyway, yeah. Taylor says John Wick reference. Cam says he needs to maybe practice ease in and ease out, as well as some less flickering frames. Yeah, I'm not trying to touch on the flickering thing too much, because that is hard to do. It's hard to keep that consistent. My first advice is you know what, in color theory second quarter of college, we talked about the difference of color temperature from natural light. And we took a still life picture at 3 different times of the day where there was a window with light coming through. And it made us kind of realize the difference in tone and then the temperature. And yeah, if you have a window in your room, if you're doing this at night, great. But if you start to work on this, when the sun's out, even if you're only working on it during daylight, but there's like a 4-hour difference, you're going to see a little bit of that like flickering. But again, the temperature is just a little bit different throughout the day, the position of the sun and all that, and clouds. Follow says, Agus, since I'm on my phone and can't really copy the link right now, would you like me to just remind you of the title at the end of the stream? Yeah, sure. Yes, just go ahead and remind me. The dog just gets shot. And then I'm not sure it's what this guy's all about with that helmet. I'm getting like a BioShock vibe, but also looks like he had like a really big pie thrown in his face. And the dog. And again, framing, again, the camera could have been, positioned lower, so we're seeing the full body here. And then also we got this guy. I mean, it's good that you have a sense of location and where the scene is being taken place between each cut. We're able to follow where things are being taken place. But it is kind of weird that when it's framed, when it cuts back, we're just getting a little bit initially. We're getting a little bit of this arm right here. Maybe it'd be neat to have the whole figure in this shot. If I was to do it again, this guy, the dog, or the dude in the dog costume, framed right, and have this guy standing right here. So immediately the audience knows exactly where this is taking place, because we've been able to see that before. We got this guy standing back here. Joe says that's the link, Aegis. I don't see any link in chat. Yeah, just tell me at the end, and I'll try not to forget. The sound is not bad either. Obviously there were things that could have been put in. I think most notably towards the end when he's dragging the body in this crate, there'd be some hard friction, some hard dragging sound that could have been in there as well. Joe, I'm not sure. I assume that you posted a link, but it could be some chat settings that I would need to find in the actual YouTube profile that may just prohibit people from posting links. I don't think I toggled that off, but it's probably a setting by default. But yeah, just tell me the title, at the end, and we will get to it. The hours later bit was a little bit short too.
Inside that cow.
You're inside that cow, dude. Just drags the dude. Yeah, like I can't even find it with the just scrubbing. Yeah, scrubbing right through. That title is so fast. I would have. If I was to do this video over, if you were to do this video over, I would say any time transition. And interestingly enough, I'm referencing SpongeBob, but I think SpongeBob does it well. They have those time cards 3 hours later and all that stuff. So, and it just takes a brief second. And here, assuming this is 24 frames per second, you had that up for like six frames, maybe 6 to 8 frames, if that. I think the title was so quick because he was nearly at the time limit. Okay, yeah, that's fair. It just means that you go to your other shots and you cut off like 4 frames here, 4 frames here. I would be much more forgiving of that, just so I could see the title, because it happens very, very, very quickly. Yeah, no, yeah, that's right, because you guys had a 90-second time limit here for sure. I once saw this video, this competition video, where the limit was like 60 seconds, and right when the climax is about to happen, this big like battle takes place, it just cuts to black, and it's like video cut due to time constraints, and then it just cuts off. That'd be great if one of you guys like did that. Just something amazing is about to happen, but then it just like stops. But yeah, I think going forward for we're talking about Pie Face Productions, I think definitely work on your framing, study film, and like for right here too. This guy walks up. He's framed left. We got, like this is not bad here. I would pan the camera, raise the camera a little bit more so there's more space up here, but this is this is not bad. So, but he's on the left, and so now he's kind of cutting off his little chair here, his throne, if you will, and that gives us some empty space here. And then we're kind of seeing things are being cut off here. So just if you're gonna frame something the way that you frame it, try and be more consistent, like you were back here when we were cutting between this guy and the discount Ash character. But again, not bad. The important thing here is that you guys are putting in the the work. You're putting in the work, and you're taking the time to create something that you think is I don't want to say good, because that makes it sound like I'm like trying to be mean. But again, the important thing is that you're spending the time. You are doing your best job possible, and then you learn from the video. You learn from what you did, and like what's working great, what's not working so great, and you go forward and you level up, so to speak, right? Like I look at some of the work that I did like way back, and like I started modeling guns in like 2008, 2007 and in 3D, and it's like cringe when I look back at it, but now I've gotten better, and now I can do industry standard work. So at least with like modeling guns, that is. But anyway, going forward. Next one. We're going to Max Stop Motion. Max, I remember you. Max Stop Motion, are you in the chat? Falba says, I like the tracking on the dog's walk cycle. Only issue is the camera was tracking the dog and not lagging behind a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of jarring when you have someone walking, the camera moves at the exact same pace. You want some camera lag for sure. I mean, again, it depends on, like, if you did that in like traditional cinema, it's I can't think of something off the top of my head where that's what they did in that first shot. Well, you could go to John Wick, actually. I can think of some shots there. But Max is here. Indeed I am, says Max. Oh no, Max, prepare for a good animation, lol. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. I have to respond to a text real quickly. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. The reality is, I do a lot of different things, and I can't blow this guy off. I gotta respond to him right now. Okay. All right, max stop motion. Papa says that, yeah, he mastered the frame blending. Okay. All right, guys, sweet. Gotta mute my mic, and we're gonna play the next one.
Next.
I would like to make a deposit to my wallet.
What's your name, sir?
Master Chief.
Do you have an ID?
Yeah.
Okay. How much would you like to withdraw?
All of it.
Mr. Chief? Hey,
No.
hey, sir.
What?
You might want to turn around.
Hey.
Chief stops identity theft. Oh, that's great. I like that Chief is taller. Yeah, says Malo Productions. Yeah, no, that works. That works well. I like your intro thing too, by the way. I will say, I'm not... Maybe I'm just dumb. I mean, obviously this looks like a helmet, but it's not reading... I'm not immediately knowing exactly what I'm supposed to be like looking at here. But anyway, that's graphic design. I did not major in graphic design, though people say what I do. Like, oh, you did graphic design. No. Anyway. I get that a lot. Like, oh, what'd you do? I went to college for media arts and animation. Oh, so graphic design. Anyway. The bank. 3 a.m. Not bad with the subtitle placement. There's nothing really to say here about this. I know a lot of times when a location is listed, it's on the bottom left, and then maybe the timestamp is somewhere in that too. But then if that's what you did, maybe I would have said like, oh, there's so much empty space here. Again, it's opinion based. It's a very subjective when you're doing something like this. So it works. It says I remember when Max's intro started as a test. Oh, the animation is so smooth. Yeah, that's something I immediately noticed as well.
Next.
It looks like you're doing like a 60 frames per second or some kind of obviously I can't tell here, but it's fluid. It captures you. Like this walk cycle, you can see that we would call this ghosting in Maya when you're basically going between frames and you can see the different like layers there. You pretty much did like a frame blending thing here, didn't you? It's 30 FPS with frame blending. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can see when he walks that the tile and the shadows are all like murky and like it definitely looks it looks cool and everything is real crisp. Everything looks sharp. I like it. This guy is just like, oh, I want to go home. He's clearly got some other problems outside of work. I love the body language here. You could have had him just sitting in the chair all normal, but he clearly is not happy with his $40,000 a year job at Fifth Third Bank. It would have been nice to have something on the screen here. Because obviously he's looking at a screen. Framing is not bad. But both guys right here. Get the screen on the left. IMG. You know what would have been funny is if he pulled out like a Blockbuster card and it said like Chief on it. It's like, dude, sir, can I please see your identity? And just there's a Blockbuster membership card with Master Chief on it. The voice actor sounds like a cool guy, not gonna lie. Max says, I was originally going to put sample text on the screen. That would have been good too. You could have totally made or you could have like put something on the screen where it's just clear that he's slacking off at work, like he's playing RuneScape, or like just he's not doing his job, or like this guy thinks he pulls up his account, but he's looking at like a movie, or just totally not doing his job, and and that just speaks like volumes, because again we get this intro. He just doesn't care, he just hates his life. He hates his job. And it's like, we just get a follow-up on that with, he's slacking off, watching or playing RuneScape or doing whatever. Again, it's the smaller things you can do to add character. I am Chief. And you spelled it wrong too. I'm guessing on purpose. I am chef. So Click says, or Cam says, yeah, it's like adds extra ghosted frames between frames. It has to be faster. It's a shot at 30 frames per second and blended at 15 plus frame blending. The voice actor sounds like a guy who would make a contest entry called Looking Different, but maybe that's just me. All right. Master Chief? Hi. Just like, he's like, and this guy's like, yep, back to RuneScape. He's like, The body language here is great. I love just the poses. And he's just like, here's where if you had a higher budget, you could just paid Chief to you could have paid Steve Downs to do because I don't know if you guys know, but he's on Cameo.com and he's done this twice. And I actually used this. I used the service, and he's in my feature film I'm working on. As you could basically have him say like something up to 250 letters worth, and people have used it for so many different things. It's great. But I want to talk about framing in this shot. Now, and this isn't done everywhere, but a technique that you can use going forward is demonstrating dominance over submissive. And I don't mean that in a sexual way. I know one of you guys is thinking it, but again, this is PG. It's a PG stream, okay? What I mean by that is who is the figure of authority in the shot? Who is more powerful? And it may not be from an arsenal standpoint, who has the bigger gun, but it could just be even like a rank thing too. Like there's a shot in the Matrix that I can show you guys if you want, but that I'm thinking of. But in this scene, obviously this guy's in the wrong, right? And Chief is in the right. Chief is like, you're gonna get destroyed, and you guys are laughing now. I'm sorry. What I would have done framing this shot, this is a example here where you could actually have negative space and you could justify why. You could have had this guy framed on the right. Now, if you guys have watched Breaking Bad does this brilliantly. What I'm getting at here is that you can express who has more power in the scene based on how much screen space they occupy. And in this shot here, if I was composing this shot, I would have this guy backed up. He's backed up in this corner, and he occupies like this much of your screen, right? And Chief is closer in. He's closer in, maybe framed in the middle, and he's just staring down at this guy. He's framed on the right. And that's when, yeah, you would have some empty space back here. But knowing what I just told you, you can justify it. And again, everything is, subjective, but that is a very good way to justify why you would do what I, said. Where if you did have him over here and this guy, Chief's in the middle, he's backed into a corner, right? And you can suggest that. He's backed into a corner. He has no power. He's about to get wrecked. No, I know what you're thinking. Trust me. It's not what you think. I mean, haha, Aegis made a grown-up joke. Teehee. I'm sorry. Okay. Hey, you guys are all teenagers at least, right? I mean, you guys know about, yeah, I'm gonna stop there. Oh my gosh. Cowering in fear. And again, going back on the whole power versus who has the power in the scene, not have the scene. With the camera angled the way it is, this works great in that this guy, Chief, is kind of above the camera, so to speak, right? And framing is so important here. And I'm gonna pull up a example for you guys that comes to mind, if I can find it real quick. Just a modern example in film. I can find it real fast. Give me a moment. I think I found the scene on one of my other screens. Give me a moment, guys. Okay, here we go. So, if you don't know, The Matrix, people argue about the second and third ones being trash, but putting aside the writing, they do so many things like brilliantly here. And so we're gonna focus on this little bit here. So this character is Captain Mifune. He's the leader of the APU squad, the Armored Personnel Unit. The Matrix is my favorite movie series, by the way. I love The Matrix. Okay, so this guy is in charge, right? And look at how we're framing him. This guy is in charge. It would look weird if the camera was like higher up than him looking down. It just wouldn't look right. It'd be weird, right? So he's loading up. And now we're doing the close up. We're kind of getting inside of his head. He knows that the machines are coming to destroy Zion, but he doesn't give a crap, right? Everyone else is loading up. We're seeing his point of view, and we're seeing this guy named Kid. He actually doesn't have a name in the credits. Everyone calls him Kid. But right here, this is what I'm talking about. We're looking at Captain Mifune. He's in charge. We're focusing on the kid, and this kid's a 16-year-old little kid who just doesn't, he just wants to help. He's like, oh, I'm just a little recruit. I don't know what I'm doing. And we're, again, Mifune is in power, and so we're framing it just like this. We're looking back. He's looking at that kid, and now we look back to him physically looking at him. And again, Mifune's in charge. He's the one that holds authority here. So we're putting the camera below, physically, position-wise, below his head, looking up at him like this. It's just the simplest camera work, right? But it is effective, and it works. And you may not know, if you're just an average film goer, you may not know why it works, but on a subconscious level, this is just one of the many aspects of what we call cinematic grammar, which again, I would love to do a separate stream on that. But okay, going back to our stop motions. So Max, great job. I mean, great job to all of you guys so far. I'm continued to be impressed at the stories, the little quick stories that you guys can come up with. I will admit, in college, I never really did. I can't think of anything off the top of my head where we had to convey a story in like a minute and a half. I've certainly done like projects of that length, but it's really neat. It's really neat what you guys have been able to achieve here. He's like, he just grabs and throws them. I love it. As far as sound goes, let's look at sound. I'm gonna watch it one more time with sound. Just see what I find.
Next.
I would like to make a deposit to my wallet.
What's your name, sir?
Master Chief.
Do you have an ID?
Yeah.
Okay. How much would you like to withdraw?
All of it.
Mr. Chief? Hey, sir.
What?
You might want to turn around.
Hey.
Your attention to sound, dude, is almost spot on. It's like the only things that I can pick out is there's a lack of room tone. Just that underlying layer of sound that you would hear in like a bank, whether it's just an air conditioning unit, fumbling of papers in the background, different little computer sounds, whatever that might look like. I love that you put the intention into the suit movement, and when he takes out the note and he puts the fake or the I am chief note away in his pocket. There's sound for that. And him typing, and you know what I loved most about your sound is just your attention to detail when he leans back in his chair, like right about here, when he types him in and then he leans back and you can hear the chair creaking.
Master Chief.
Do you have an ID?
It's very subtle, but it's there, and it helps add to the scene. Dapper says, "Yeah, I agree. Even if you don't change your own style, you can pick up however. It's great. Even if you try and copy someone's style, inherently there's gonna be like a uniqueness to whatever you produce that shines through, right? Now, granted, you shouldn't be copying people, but there's only so many styles out there, right? And whenever someone does something, there's always that little bit of uniqueness that comes from them specifically doing it, right? Max says, when I do sound, I always put a sound for everything that moves. Yeah, and that's a great way to think about it. And if you do stereo, you account for where people are on the screen, where people are in your environment. I know I've done some streams in the past where I've streamed audio, like mixing. I think I did for one of the Wyoming Origins episodes, like the third one. And like audio should never be overlooked, because that's half the battle. You have your animation, your picture, and your effects, but without the sound, it's like, And Click says, practically same, but I don't want to overload my mix with sound effects. Yeah, it's you can have a lot of sounds in your scene, but only keep the ones that are really important, like dialogue, at a higher decibel level versus, suit movement and, like seat creaks or chair creaking sounds and all that. Yeah, exactly. You put emphasis on more important ones. Yep. Sound mixing, personally, I love it. And I wanted to work on Wyoming Origins for Wyoming because I don't get the opportunity to do it enough with my own work that I do. And I was like, I want to have some sound mixing stuff to work on. So, all right, Max, great job, brother. Great job. I'm still kind of chuckling at Master Chief just throwing him. Next up is Murder Mystery and Imposter Stop Motion Contest Entry. It's by Sundance 777. I think I saw one of your videos before. I can't quite remember. Go ahead and mute my mic and we'll watch it. Oh, look at that time limit. He pushed it to the very end, man. 1 extra second, man. You would have been disqualified. Oh, this is so violent. All right, so as the chat has mentioned, I'm so lost, not gonna lie. Yeah, I definitely had to think about it. The story is one of the best. Each witness is telling their side of what they saw. I love the stormtrooper approach. And yeah, this is this is gonna take several like moments of like watching. But you know what I love what you're doing for transitions, Sundance, is that you're zooming in on their head and then pulling back out. Because if you just had a hard cut, I mean, I would be lost entirely on what we're supposed to be watching. That works out very. The guy's hair. Is that hair or a hat or both? It's like, why do you have a helmet on at that point? I think it looks hilarious. Set work is great. Nothing to complain about. The only thing I think that bothers me, and I've said this in the server before, is trying to have a different color for your walls versus your floors. I mean, just on first glance, for setting up like a focal point when you establish a new shot, your stormtroopers could get lost in some of these shots. But as I look, you know, that's not really happening. I mean, right here, obviously it's darker and this works. But you know, if these guys were standing farther out and they were lit up in white, it just wouldn't read as well as it could if that wall was like a different color. But again, I'm not seeing any terrible, like, you know, instances here. Young crook by businessman. Obviously, a lot of thought a handful of thought went into this, coming up with the story for sure. Any kind of like Inception level murder mystery thing. I mean, for my film project and the other work I've done in college, we never had to. I can't think of anything where we had to do something like this. And this works great. Ian777 says, "I understood immediately." Bet, dude. I don't think you did. Falbo says, "I'm starting to understand, lol. I had to sit back and think." Let's watch it again. I just want to watch it through and through a second time. Oh, before we do, title safe. We talked about title safe earlier. Is anything for you guys in chat? Anything stand out as far as the positioning of the title? The courtroom 7 a.m. title. I know in chat. Color and too far left. Color, I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing. Every software, when you drop in a text layer by default, your text is white. And it's clear that Sundance thought about that and changed it because he understood that it was going to blend in on the Stormtroopers, which is great. I would like to see a drop shadow. Just not, like nothing crazy, but just a little bit to make it, bump out at you a little bit more. Too far down. I don't think too far down is I don't think it's too far down. The other thing though is talking about title safe, in my opinion, too far to the left. Whenever I make a title that pops up on the bottom left of my screen for my videos, I like to make sure the distance between the bottom of the title and the bottom of your frame is equivalent to the left of the text, the far left of your text and the far left of your screen border. However, you can see the left-hand side of the C is almost lined up with this bar here. So you could almost say that this was formatted for YouTube in like a certain respect. Because like I know with a YouTube video, it's like, if this was on like a DVD, this wouldn't count, right? But some people like to put their text closer down here, right? So when I scrub through here, or if I was to hit play, there's that chance that immediately we're seeing text and this stuff overlapping. But in this case, not so much. Yellow over white is never legible. Oh, Chris of the Dead. Hey, dude. Chris, you are a man of smarts. I'm glad to see you. A drop shadow or stroke outline. Yeah, for sure. It doesn't quite blend in as much. Click says, I feel like I'm in class. I kind of like it. My teacher's hot. Get out of here. But yeah, just some general rule of thumb things here, right? Talking about where things are being positioned and where your titles are. But set work, by the way, I mean we already talked about the set work. When I look at this, the environment is different here. So what we're in a courtroom scene, right? You got your opening wide courtroom establishing shot, and everything else is in a different environment as far as what I can tell. Or cuts back to the courtroom. Yeah, I'm like I said before I got sidetracked from title safe, I'm gonna re-watch this again. Flame Motion, see you later, buddy. Thanks for stopping by. Watching it again, and again, I know you guys only had a certain amount of time. I think it just cuts too abruptly at the very end. I don't see immediately. Now again, this takes some rewatching to quite understand the entire thing. But it ends pretty abruptly, and I'm not getting a sense of resolution. It cuts off very quickly at the very end. Max says, I feel like he tried to do too much with the time limit. The story could have definitely benefited from establishing more things clearly. Yeah, I agree. Maybe covering too many points of view. If you took out one character's point of view, you would have more breathing room in your shots for everybody else. Probably. I mean, it's going very, very quickly between a lot of characters. Did the guy get killed twice at the end? Maybe. The time limit felt too short for such a theme. I remember saying it was shorter to begin with. I think it was like a minute, and then I think Keegan or somebody basically said, okay, we're going to make it 90 seconds. Yeah, I mean, going forward, definitely provide like that feedback for them. Maybe just have an open time limit of at least 1 minute, but it can go up to like 3 minutes or something. Perhaps with some voice actors and with a slower pace, it would be a lot more understandable. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that is a good point. Maybe you were trying to cover a lot of ground, and you just didn't have the amount of time and breathing room. Malo says it started at 60 and went to 90, but it felt too short for me. Yeah. I mean, it depends on the context. Like Dafter Things, his video, he didn't shoot for the stars, right? He just kept it sweet and he kept it simple. And there was plenty of time to read what was happening. Plenty of time for the audience to follow along. Guy gets his wine, sits down on the couch, looks at the news. There were just less story beats. And here there's just like dozens and dozens of story beats happening, right? But with Dafter Things, his amount of story beats was a lot shorter. Dafter says, I quite liked the challenge of 90 seconds. Yeah, I mean, some people like it, maybe some people didn't, but rest in peace. He didn't win this one. He definitely didn't win this one. Man, 26 entries. Oh my gosh, I can't like having to narrow it down to like a first place. That's they're probably having a tricky time right now. And again, I am doing this. I'm reviewing these from a professor or teacher standpoint, as far as the experience that we had in college. And we're not talking about whose is better or whose is the best, right? And so that's specifically why I didn't want to vote. I didn't want any kind of contribution towards that. Although the first place winner gets, if you guys didn't remember, so one of the things I'm trying to do with these competitions is give a substantial prize to the first place winner. So if those of you who don't know, I am going to buy something up to $25 per the winner's choice. So long as it goes towards their craft, obviously, whether it be like a figure or a set piece or something like that. So, going forward, I would like to continue doing that because I love what you guys are doing. I wish that when I was in high school, I had friends that also, were like tinkering with 3D modeling and trying to figure this stuff out. And unfortunately, I was pretty much by myself. It was a lot harder. It's like I learned I learned X amount of stuff in 4 or 5 years before starting college. And then in like 6 months of college, I had learned like more than what I did in that 5 years prior. It's just like, whatever. Now you guys have just YouTube all over, you can just, tutorials are everywhere. So Followable says there shouldn't be a minimum time limit. Yeah, well, again, that's feedback for you for the competition hosts. Okay, next one. I'm Ray, alternate contest cut. So this is, I see alternate contest, but this is in the list. So this is what we're reviewing. So let's see here. Who did this one, by the way? I didn't see. By Bald Eagle Productions. Okay.
There's been no one for so long. Who are you?
Ray.
Ray who?
Kill him. Kill him now.
What the hell?
Let the heat flow through you. Am the Senate. You will experience the full power of the dark side.
All right. So first thing that stands out, audio. It was kind of hard to hear what was going on. Mr. Bald Eagle Productions. Going forward, try and level out your audio a little bit more, or maybe it just wasn't loud enough for me. I turned my volume up. There was some dialogue, and again, it's pretty evident that your approach was that you took audio from the film. At least that's what it sounds like. And the scream was hilarious. Yeah, it was pretty good. The guy's like, ah, just like shaking just flailing all over the place, like right here. Nice. Let's talk about some other things. Framing is not that bad. It is a bit weird when it is jarring when you have a character that's center frame staring at what almost looks like the camera lens. Typically, I find that's usually effective in like horror, as far as what I've been told, and it's generally not used much anywhere else. But again, she turns, gets the saber. And obviously, there's some issues here going on with your layers and your cropping and your keying. Just the simplest things to look for going forward. And the other thing that stood out was your chroma key in After Effects. Well, at least that's what I'm talking about. In terms of how I would go about it. There's an edge feather tool that you can use, at least in After Effects. Maybe you don't have this option in whatever tool you used, but this would be, you can see the blue contour here, and it would be nice to kind of feather that edge. So you have this warm hue, this warm silhouette, right? But then you got this weird blue contour line from your chroma key. It's pretty evident that you did this on a blue screen. At least that's what it looks like. But Joe Films, see you later, dude. Sorry, yours is the very last. We'll get to yours on Wednesday, brother. Yeah, the green screen was off and on. Yeah, and you know what? Like, again, maybe you don't have, maybe your tools or the software you have is not flexible enough to handle that, which if that's the case, I understand, right? Some of you guys are more better equipped than others, so I try to be as understanding as possible. Now, I did see Rise of Skywalker, and I'm having some trouble remembering who this character is supposed to be. So I know at the end, Rey's spoilers, Rey's back on Tatooine, I believe. Back where Luke used to live. And this random old lady walks up or something and talks to her or something. The green screen confused me. One point it was an ocean, and then it was like a fiery background. Yeah, well, the fiery background, is great to convey, emotion. She's like, "I'm gonna kill you now." It'd be kind of weird. Well, not weird, but it would be not as effective if you had the same sandy background. You go from Tatooine, I'm a nice lady, I'm just taking a tour, seeing where my ancestor Luke lived or whatever. Not ancestor, relative. It's like, oh, I'm gonna kill you now. Now the sky's on fire. Yeah. I mean, exactly. It put emphasis on the evil part. You go from Tatooine to Mustafar, just like that. I'm not as on point with my Star Wars lore, I'll admit. So I may get some names wrong here and there. Yeah, just general post-production things like your keying and keeping track of your layers. Perspective here. When you shot these elements, you can see that the perspective is fairly off from your background plate of Tatooine. That's another thing, like to keep in mind going forward, trying to match perspectives with your different layers and making sure that things line up. Good old lightning, After Effects lightning, love it. And your little title logo production at the very end. It almost, now I don't mean to sound cruel or rude, but it almost looks like you put more work into your this end logo screen than, now granted you just used some footage from the movie, but it almost, like the quality of this logo title at the end stands out as more effective and more clean than some of these shots in your actual film. 35 minutes left for me. Am I going to make it? Okay, good for letting me know. We're gonna keep moving. I don't think there's anything else that I have here to say about this one. So, but yeah, good job as always. So, yeah, we got 2 more. So you click, I will get to yours. Let's watch the next one. By Comic Club. You're in the chat, right, Comic? I've seen you've been talking. I'm gonna mute my mic and play the video.
Active camo engaged.
All right. I love the implied action. And Chris, you said one tool to make an effective background plate. If you have a more modern version of Photoshop, the content-aware fill tool can be pretty good at painting things out. Yeah, I'm not super well versed with Photoshop, so you probably know more about that than I do. Stinger says that went from 0 to 100 real quick. I love I do love the implied action though with the footsteps. And you're showing that. And it's like, for a split second, I'm wondering, did he get through? And then you're saying that he did get through, and you're letting the audience know that. When he gets shot. So I'm curious. It's like, if he got shot, did he get shot, or did his camo, like, disengage when he got shot? That's just what's going through, like, my head. So... But either way, maybe he got startled and he's like, oh crap, Footsteps were great detail. Is this followable? Yes, I agree. Very nice touch. Love how you showed the footsteps. Yeah, no, that sells it. If you just led to this point and this guy's like, hello, it's just like, oh, what's going on here? So you are building suspense towards that moment. And it's the implied action leads us to it. Some of the action here, like spinning around, just feels like it's crying out for like more frames. But this thing spins around right here. I'm not sure what's let me watch this again. I'm not sure what the point was. Click, you're in the chat, right? Yeah. Or no, not Click. Comic Club, you're in the chat. I know you're watching. I would like to know what was the reason for the camera zooming in on the red guy and then pulling back out on the green guy. Was that just like, with something like that, I would expect like a time zone, or when we watched the one with all the stormtroopers, we're changing the point of view. Was that just a clever way to change cuts and just go back to like the other guy? Because that's what I'm getting here. But I want to make sure I'm not missing something else. because I feel you're spending a fair amount of time on that, and I'm just wondering what the thought process is behind that. You say yeah. Okay. I take it that the imposter is him because he doesn't belong in the base, or am I wrong? Comic. Well, the green guy, I would assume, is right? Yes, it was to change cuts. Okay, cool. Sweet. Just for continuity, I wasn't sure exactly. I will say with the camo effect, when you do the flickering thing, when he goes back into camo, it, to me at first, that read as like, that kind of came off as like these older shooting games or older fighting, like beat 'em up games where someone dies and their body just vanishes. That's the impression that I got. Whereas for camo, and I think that the quickest and easiest solution is just a simple opacity fade, right? Where you just have a separate layer masked out with your figure, and you just lower the opacity over like 8 frames or whatever. This is just change cuts. Andrew says the chief wasn't naked; he had underwear on. Okay. Oh, hey, Andrew. Also, because he's fighting against the ones inside, and he had to get being invisible. Right. Okay. Set work is great. I don't have any complaints there. It's great that you realized with all this green that you had everyone like red, and that the imposter kind of like blended in at the same time. I like that attention to the color. In fact, that's a direct compliment color too, right? You got red and green. Red and green are opposites on the color wheel, and I think I've mentioned this before, but complementary colors is a great way to. That's what you do to generate contrast, right? And the 3 quickest ways to go about it, or the 3 color combinations, are what? Blue and orange, purple and yellow, and then red and green. Blue and orange, you see that in advertising everywhere. Blue background, orange text, yada yada. But your color decisions here are great. And to me, that comes off as something that you did indeed think about and consider. It's very easy to read and locate everybody. Oh, you say you can't do that with my software, though. I'm guessing you're referring to the opacity fade. Okay, fair enough. And again, this just goes back to what I said earlier. You're working with the tools you have, which is completely understandable. I'm not going to dock points for that, right? So, cool. All right. Well, I think that's about it for this one. Let me take another listen on your sound, real quick.
Active camo engaged.
So you have like you have all the important stuff up until the fight. I don't have any complaints, right? Or I don't have any problems. I think room tone or some kind of ambience would be nice. Since we're outdoors, there's got to be some kind of birds or bugs or something like that. But the thing I think that could be improved upon the most here is the fighting sounds. You have the basic throws, you have the swooshes, but there's some hits and some body falling that could be there as well. So going forward, just try and focus more on, or try and spend a little bit more time on observing the fights that you are creating and thinking about, just watching over and over where you think sounds like need to be taking place. I mean, the 3 essentials, with fighting, you got your swooshes, your punch impacts, and your body falls. And those are like the 3 bases I try and cover every time. And if you guys did not see, if you want an example, I took the Burly Brawl fight from the Matrix and did a resound on it, I think it might be in my channel inside of our server. And so, you know, with there, it was just a monumental amount of work. But I mean, that's a perfect, not a perfect, because I'm not trying to say I'm perfect, but that's a good example. In fact, if you watch it, you're going to see, if you really look closely, you'll see a spot that I missed entirely where there should have been a body throw hit because all the Smith clones, right? And I worked on it so much and rewatched and things can still slip by, you know? Unfortunately, you guys are solo creators, but it's always good to get a pair of fresh eyes to take a look and watch like your content before it's done, right? And then you know, they're going to find the things that you've completely overlooked. At least I would hope so. You know, with that Matrix fight that I did, it's there's so much going on that I missed it after 30 plus, 40 plus times rewatching. Okay. We're going to do our last one for the day by Click Studio. Oh, man, you had one more second. You didn't use it? Oh, come on, Click. You let me down, dude. Let's look at chat. A final hit sound for taking out the last guy would have helped sell it. Yes, I agree. Chris the Dead, originally, I did have that final sound effects, but it got lost when I uploaded it. Oh, that sucks, dude. Yeah, there's that weird process of somehow on video exports and you know, things can get cut out for some reason. Software issues, man, they never stop coming at you. Click says I have a 2-minute version just for you. Thanks, man. Okay, I'm gonna mute my mic and let's take a look.
Everybody ready?
No, I have no idea what's going on.
God damn it.
We jump out, kill the targets, and wait for evac.
Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey you. Why aren't you answering me? I'm ghosting you. Are you fucking kidding?
One down. The leader's escaping. Got him.
How did you even see me?
Our job's done here. Nice work, everyone.
Yeah, well done.
Who the fuck are you?
It's me, Jamie.
I don't know. You look different.
And sound different, too.
So how you doing, bro?
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I got stuck in a... Who's that?
Your twin brother from...
Why did you do that?
He had multiple bomb devices on him. Pretty obvious.
You didn't know he had these on him at first, right?
Hell nah.
Hey Jenkins, we got the same score on this one, didn't we?
No, dude, that guy was legit 5 points, and the leader 2.
Fuck off.
All right,
Everybody
well,
ready?
This stream was PG until we watched this one, so thanks for the F-bombs, and now we're rated R. Sweet. Okay. A fun fact, if you guys don't know, a PG-13 film is only allowed 1 F-bomb, and if you have more than 1, your film is rated R automatically. Okay, so... yeah, so I see in chat one thing that I agree with Chris. Chris says it's hard to hear some of the voices, and that is definitely I agree. Things could be clearer. There are some lines that are hard to read, or hard to hear. Sorry, I love the pun that you put in here. He's like, I'm ghosting. I want to watch this part again.
I'm ghosting you.
The extra zoom in on his face and the pacing there, the timing is great. I love that. See you, Comic Club. See you, buddy. I like your visual presentation. I like this weird. Everything's really vibrant and crisp. It reminds me of those OLED TVs that you see in like stores now at Target or Best Buy or wherever. Just the colors are so much like vibrant, and like the blacks are like true black because of the way that the screen is lit. I want to get one of those TVs later this year, but they're like $1,400. But It is interesting seeing that in here, this guy's blurry, but then you have this guy kind of more in like focus, but then the background is blurry. I would suspect that both subjects here should be at the same amount of like focus, and then the background would be, you know, blurred out. Saturated like Halo 3, the good kind. Yeah, you're right, Chris. We're gonna see that in Halo Infinite based on what they've shown, man. It looks like it's going back to that kind of presentation. What else? I love just the guy flying into the sky and exploding. There's a lot here. I'm gonna watch it another time. So let's take another look.
Everybody ready?
No, I have no idea what's going on.
God damn it. We jump out, kill the targets, and wait for evac.
Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey. Hey, you. Why aren't you answering me? I'm ghosting you. Are you fucking kidding?
One down. The leader's escaping.
Got him.
How did you even see me?
Our job's done here. Nice work, everyone.
Yeah, well done.
Who the fuck are you?
It's me, Jamie.
I don't know. You look different.
And sound different, too.
So how you doing, bro?
Hey guys, sorry I'm late. I got stuck in a... Who's that?
Your twin brother from...
Why did you do that?
He had multiple bomb devices on him. Pretty obvious.
You didn't know he had these on him at first, right?
Hell nah.
Hey Jenkins, we got the same score on this one, didn't we?
No, dude, that guy was legit 5 points, and the leader 2.
Fuck off.
Love the argument at the end. I love the like this little beat here where you can tell you're using body language to convey what this guy's like thinking, right? He's right about here. He's like, yeah, dude, good job. Sorry I'm late. I just got back from the chiropractor. My back is killing me. And I love this bit right here. He just the way he's positioned here is just practically perfect. He's just like, he's got this inquisitive look. He's like, something isn't right. He's like, huh? He's like, dude, really? Like, come on, what are you trying to do here? And you are conveying his thoughts, and you're taking you're giving it that time it needs, where he's thinking something isn't right. Wait a minute. He just whips out the gun and shoots and kicks him out. That might have been, this might be my favorite part, to be honest. That and the ghosting bit. But yeah, sound, obviously dialogue could use some improvement. And you know what? That's tough to do when you got other people voice acting for you. Other people are, have different environments, and they may not have the same, the best equipment. And then you're taking stuff, you may be taking stuff from, films and video games, and then, you have to deal with that. But those microfigures could be so much more expressive with clavicle articulation. Well, geez, Chris. Yeah, I mean, again, it's, you work with like what you have. It doesn't look like these guys have, I'm not familiar with this line of toy figures, so I don't know nearly as much as what what everyone here knows with their figures and everything. But this doesn't look like, they looks like your typical like the rotator cuff right here and whatnot. But true, but they are 2 inches high. Yeah, that's also something you gotta. It's hard to remember. It's hard to remember that, and I think that when it's hard to remember, it just tells you that you guys did a good job. Like when you do it right, you don't remember that these things are 2 inches tall, and I think that's really cool. Visual appeal is good. Sound editing, I think, we already talked about dialogue, but sound effects, I don't think there's much missing. Again, there could have been some ambience from this outdoor environment. The ghost sound was there. That was good. Oh, I'm ghosting. Letting the ghosting part. I think what could have helped if you had more time would be a establishing shot of this environment. We cut to the Covenant, right? We're showing just a few different vantage points. I think it would have worked either way if you had an establishing shot at the beginning, or you had these quick cuts like you do, but then maybe before this ghosting gag, you cut to a wide shot where you see the grunt and you see all the elites, you see this guy spinning, and we follow through, with this shot, and you see him continuing to roll around, and you have the ghosting pun there. And just as all the effects in mind were practical and in camera except for the white frame. Got it. Yeah, and Andrew, we're gonna go back to the Followable wants me to watch some behind the scenes video. So we're gonna take a look at that as well after this. This is Click Studio. Click. Yeah, you're talking. Yep, the green one has one of his arms that kept dropping off. Oh man. One technique I saw Patrick Williams do is a figure he had duplicates of, saw off the shoulder connection to the torso and use some kind of putty to reattach arms for shrugs and clap. That's intense. Not recommended unless you figures to spare. Yeah. Click says I put ambient SFX on every location. Really?
Going in 5.
Hey. Ghosting you.
Got him.
How did you even...
Yeah, I think you have some of like the footsteps and the ghosts, but I'm not hearing. It's hard to hear. If you did put something in there, it's really hard to hear it. But again, it's not. It just helps sell your environment better. It's not necessary, but it's just that extra cherry on top for your sound, right?
Why did you do that?
It would have been neat to have that explosion more prominent in your frame versus just like overlapping off of the edges at the very end here. Here's where you could talk about quadrants when you divide up your frame, and you could have your upper right quadrant be where that explosion happens. Yeah, I think that's, I'm not sure what else to talk about here. I think we covered like the majority of it. The fights, let me look at the fights again.
The leader's escaping. Got him.
How did you even see me?
Our job's...
I didn't catch that the first time. How do you even see me? That's good. Yeah, these were all great, and I kind of want to keep watching the others, but I want to have fresh eyes for when we check them out. So tomorrow, for those of you who want to leave, tomorrow we are going to, same time at 1 o'clock Eastern time. I hope that I'm saving these stream settings. Hopefully everything will start out smooth. Apologize, it was rough at the beginning, Murphy's Law. But we will continue, and tomorrow's lineup is, if I just pull up, tomorrow's lineup is, we got Estudio Face, Red Brick, Speedy Noob, I remember Speedy Noob, Molnar Studios, Floodmaker, I'm interested to see what you did. I remember your last contest entry was pretty good. Starscape, and Stinger. Okay, sweet. So tomorrow we'll get through more of them. And yeah, the explosion was kind of tough to get right. Yeah. Yeah, again, just learning to composite stuff and make it look right. That's, it's tough. It's tough when you have certain tools and certain, like, you know, if your source video is not properly filmed and set up for it to be, you know, keyed and put on your footage, and then you have extra work to do, and it makes it challenging. Remember the building collapse in the Wyoming Origins finale with that smoke and the building collapse that I did? Getting that smoke right was that was a pain. Okay, but there's something that we were gonna watch. Fallible, you said that there's an Andrew Kaufman behind the scenes for his. So if we go here. Dapper says, thank you so much for doing this, Agus. Much appreciated, and I always learn a huge amount. I hope that you guys do, because a lot of what I'm talking about I've known for a while, since college, right? It's what I went there and what I learned during that time there. So it's hard to put myself in your guys' shoes, right? I don't know. Everyone has different levels of knowledge, and so... All right, I have to go. Thanks for the review. Also, if you want to watch the 2-minute version, I got more jokes in it. Click, put it in your channel on Discord, and I will check it out. But okay, so there's another video behind the scenes that we wanted to look at. I'm guessing it's on your channel, so we'll take a look. Yeah, let me know what the title is here. I'm looking around. Hey, you got it, guys, for sure. You know, when I was your age, I wish that there was somebody that was at my age and my point in my life that that took the time to help me learn, right? And so I want to take I want to, you know, I see what you guys are doing and I think it's great, and I want to I just want to help out, you know. I'm being sincerely honest, right? I want to offer up, you know, the knowledge that I have with this kind of thing, and just help out, right? So let's see, Andrew, you what's the video title, guys, that I'm supposed to be looking for? Oh, second from the left, behind this. Okay.
What's up, guys? Can you hear me?
What's up, guys? I'm just gonna mute this. I don't want overlapping stuff. This is neat. Yeah, it's nifty how you. I remember seeing cracks in the wall in one of your shots. It's neat how you were able to link that together. Just helps sell the more natural environment for sure. And the flood guy, look at that. So is that a magnet that you used to look at that? Smart man. That's great. I never even thought about how you had him stay on the wall like that. Huh. What college should I go to? I went to the Cincinnati Art Institute. Now, unfortunately, I wouldn't recommend the Art Institute. One reason being that they're almost completely out of business because they're a for-profit college owned by a parent company. They started going downhill in 2015. I think it was President Obama passed a bill, I think in his first term, that really affected for-profit colleges in a negative way, and it made it hard for some of them to stay alive. And I guess when Congress passed that bill, that made it tough. And so I remember in 2015, they made the announcement that 15 campuses were going to close down. That eventually led to like 20, and now it's been more. But my campus was one of the ones that closed. And I actually have a behind-the-scenes video that I have not put together. But I went around the campus on the last week and just like a tour and just like looked at everything, talked to some people. And I've been meaning to put that together, but given the depressing like nature, I just haven't done it yet. I'm thinking in September I'll do it because it'll have been 3 years at that point. So, but yeah, to answer your question, the Cincinnati Art Institute, which I drove by a couple weeks back, and it's just weird to think that you go to college somewhere and like you can't go back, like it's not there anymore. Like the building's there, but like the portions that were rented out for in that building for that school are now owned. You know, they're now being used and rented by a different company, and that Art Institute brand is nowhere to be seen. And you know, it's kind of a morbid thought, but I am still grateful for the knowledge and the time that I spent there. It was a little more expensive than I would have liked, but it is what it is. Anyway, let's go back to this. Look at this and all your figures, dude. I love your YouTube table there. Yeah, it is sad, Stinger, but I've gotten past it. You know, it was just another step in life. They when they announced the shutdowns, what they were nice enough to do is just say like, we're gonna stop enrolling people, but we're gonna finish everybody out, and they for the most part, because I won't get into every tiny detail. I need to continue my Mindcast podcast series where eventually I'll get to that point. That's like my deep dive, it's like my whole experience of college minus the boring general education classes like biology. But I'm gonna at some point I need to pick that series back up. I've just been busy, but at some point you'll hear the whole story if you stick to that podcast series. But they did finish all of us out, and so I'm grateful for that. Look at all these figures, man. Your setup is pretty rad, dude. You got a battleship? That's sick. Hand painted too? Jeez. I thought I muted my mic there for a second. I apologize. That's awesome, dude.
Not much to do on a Friday. Yeah, well, the camera was actually stationary, and I just moved this along. So maybe as I was moving it, I was twisting it and made it look a little more curved than it was. It's actually just like a 45 or whatever, a 90. Well, a little more than 90, but yeah. Anyway, that was it.
It's really cool, dude. Sweet. Alright guys, so if you guys want to watch the full video and listen in, it's Andrew Kaufman's channel. Sweet, guys. Alright guys, if you guys have any questions, I guess ask now. Otherwise, I think we're done. Max says, I love Andrew's voice. Sounds like it comes from Tennessee or like Iowa or something. So about how well the time limit was utilized. I don't know if that's a question or... Arkansas. Okay, I was close. Kind of, not really. I should have guessed like, yeah, your voice just come off as an Alabama, for sure. I remember driving through there at one point for the first time several years ago, and not really believing beforehand that the stereotypes were true, but man, it is super redneck and That's all I'll say about that. For the contest videos, it's about how well was the. You mean for your video? You can we already went through your video. We'll pull it back up, but yeah, you clearly had some extra time. I remember reading, and again, you can rewatch this if you want, the stream, but I definitely loved just some quick thoughts. I definitely loved the setup and what you did here with the payoff with the suit. It's great with the little flood guys hitting the suit and all that. For all the videos. Okay. Cool. Alright guys, I think that's about it. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry it was a hard start at first, getting everything working, but tomorrow we'll get through the rest, and that is about it as far as I know. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to turn off the stream. Look at those tabs open. If you guys like guns, I got this one I'm working on. Anyway, that's not stop motion related. What am I doing? Any other questions? Sweet. Yep. See you guys tomorrow. Same time, 1 o'clock. I'm pretty punctual with it, so hopefully things will be set up and we'll get started a little bit more on time. See you guys. Have a good day.